that history-making spaceflight, what's being called the dawn of a new space age.
This tourism flight is currently underway. This is big news.
Space tourism is slowly gaining pace, but despite getting amazing views in zero gravity, which seems worth the price, it can create tons of issues and have some serious consequences as well. What are the issues with this form of tourism, and will it ever become widespread? Join us today on an express journey as we take a look at all the pros and cons of space tourism and break down its possible problems and implications. We have all grown up watching astronauts gracefully floating around the International Space Station. And let's not forget the epic saga of Star Wars and Star Trek, captivating our imagination with intergalactic battles and distant planets. It has built the desperate desire for wanting to go out into space yourself and experience it all firsthand. This fantasy was brought to real life not so long ago, in the early 2000s. This era marked the inception of space tourism, a crazy new way to view the planet from high above and experience near-zero gravity. In the year 2001, a Russian spacecraft called Soyuz TM-32 made history by shuttling the first-ever paying space tourist and American engineer and entrepreneur, Denis Tito, along with 2 Russian astronauts, to the International Space Station, or ISS. He paid a mind-blowing $20 million to fund his extraterrestrial stay of 7 days docked to the ISS. Tito's celestial journey laid the groundwork for a new and high-tech innovation in human exploration. However, there is always the possibility of something going wrong in space. In a tragic event in 2003, the Space Shuttle Columbia broke apart upon re-entering Earth's atmosphere, killing all 7 astronauts on board and halting the Russian Soyuz program as a result. Elon Musk's SpaceX company was founded in 2002 with a mission to revolutionize space travel. Its mission also includes enabling the colonization of Mars and advancing space capabilities for a sustainable future. They say once you get to experience traveling, you seem to get the travel bug. The same thing happened with Denis Tito. He has reportedly signed up to travel around the moon again in Elon Musk's Starship rocket one day whenever the mission takes place. In 2004, a privately developed crewed suborbital spacecraft called Spaceship One won a hefty $10 million Ansari X prize because it showed a potential for private enterprise in space travel and could carry 3 people into suborbital spaceflight. It became the pioneer of sparking an interest in spaceflight for ordinary citizens. And by 2007, space tourism emerged as one of the earliest markets for commercial spaceflight. But is this mode of tourism really viable? Before we discuss that, please press the like button if you like the video so far, and subscribe to the channel for more informative videos. Thank you for your support. Now let's continue. The idea of experiencing space seems great, but let's not forget the challenges and hurdles that come with it. Space travel, despite its thrill, faces some cold, hard realities. The hefty price tag is a giant asteroid-sized obstacle, currently making it a luxury reserved for deep-pocketed adventurers only. We are looking at around $35,000 per day for one private astronaut on the International Space Station. This whole mission could cost around $50 million for the ride there and back. Moreover, safety concerns are there too. High-speed launches and the unknowns of space pose significant risks. The cosmic playground is no walk in the park, and ensuring the safety of every space tourist demands meticulous planning and precise technology. We have all witnessed the tragic accident of the submarine Titan back in June 2023, proving how extreme adventures could easily turn into a disaster. So, a lot of extreme travel endeavors have come under serious scrutiny in its aftermath. Now, let's talk sustainability. Rockets blasting off into space emit a substantial carbon footprint, releasing 200 to 300 tons of CO2 on every launch, raising environmental red flags. If such tourism becomes successful, it will forever be surrounded by campaigns that highlight how bad it is for the environment and hinder progress for this growing industry. Nevertheless, Some big players have been constantly working towards making space travel a reality for the public. According to expert analysis, space tourism was worth $600 million in 2021, but that number is expected to skyrocket to $13 billion by 2031, thanks to some big names in this new and developing industry. First up, we've got SpaceX, led by the super ambitious Elon Musk. They're all about making space travel cheaper with their cool reusable rockets like Falcon 9. In September 2021, the Inspiration 4 mission was launched from the Kennedy Space Center on Falcon 9 and became the first all-civilian crew to fly an orbital space mission. Virgin Galactic, led by British billionaire Richard Branson, is another major player in turning space tourism into reality. Their spacecraft, Spaceship Two, has recently, in September 2023, taken 3 private astronauts into space on the mission called Galactic 2. Safe to say, the mission landed back on Earth successfully after the completion of the trip. Then there's Blue Origin, founded by Jeff Bezos. They're into suborbital space tourism and plan to launch tourist flights into space in the coming future. Axiom Space is a company that's developing the world's first commercial space station, and NASA recognized its potential in January 2020 and granted them the contract to build the first commercially made module for the International Space Station. The launch of this groundbreaking module, HAV-1, is planned for 2026, and if everything goes as planned, it will definitely be a huge step forward towards space inhabitation. Fun fact, did you know that the ISS is set to retire in 2031? Marking the end of a long era of space exploration and study. After the ISS is decommissioned, Axiom envisions a future where its space station will take center stage, operating independently and staying in orbit on its own. One company called Worldview is aiming to use the power of helium gas to bring space tourism into reality. In 2021, they announced plans to launch regular trips into the stratosphere, where people would be able to view the Earth from inside a safe capsule that will be taken up using a large helium balloon. The company claims that it has already reached more than 1,000 reservations for its balloon flights. A single flight is going to cost about $125,000 per person. So, is space tourism a viable reality for everyone? Well, that's the million-dollar question. The allure of having the most incredible 360-degree bird's-eye view of the Earth and the blankness of space from hundreds of miles up is undeniably huge, but the journey to make it accessible and sustainable is extremely difficult. Embarking on a space trip has its challenges and risks. One critical concern revolves around the potential medical implications. Weightlessness and microgravity can cause fluid shifts in the body, impacting cardiovascular function, bone loss, and muscle atrophy. And then there's exposure to radiation, which could result in DNA damage. Let's suppose an all-civilian tour goes up in orbit, and a technical problem or failure arises. Now what? Could the people on board be able to fix it before something bad happens? Probably not, because they are not professionally trained astro-engineers. This situation could easily result in a fatal accident and a public crisis. As of 2023, space tourism companies are only required to provide basic training to the passengers in case of an emergency like smoke, fire, loss of cabin pressure, and emergency exit. Plus, space law is still in its infancy. It's evolving and varies from country to country. Legal frameworks that encompass all aspects of the trip must be formed before we can hope to simplify this adventure form because, right now, it's a bit of a headache. For example, a tourist may need to obtain a visa or permit to enter or exit a certain jurisdiction, or they may be held responsible for any damage or injury caused by their actions or negligence. In April 2023, the FAA launched a rulemaking committee to help plan and implement future regulations for commercial spaceflight occupant safety, called SPARK. But until the government and industry stakeholders work to create a new safety framework for that, space tourists must fly at their own risk. So tell us, would you like to travel in space one day? What are your thoughts on space tourism? Let us know in the comments section. If you like this video, please press the like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more informative and interesting videos, like the destruction of the International Space Station shown on the screen. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you in the next video.